Life in the Viking Age. Congratulations! You've just woken up on a wooden bench inside a longhouse. The air is thick with smoke from the central fire pit, and the smell of unwashed bodies and damp wool. The year is 870 AD. You are not a king or a legendary warrior. You are the son of a farmer. You are a Viking. This longhouse is your world. You share this smoky, windowless space with your entire extended family and your animals in the winter. There is no privacy here, only community and the constant, biting cold. Your day begins before dawn. The first task is to stoke the fire, the heart of your home. Your clothes are simple, rough wool tunics that are rarely washed and offer little protection from the damp. Breakfast is a thin porridge of oats or rye, perhaps with some dried fish. It is bland and monotonous. Fresh food is a seasonal luxury. This is fuel, not pleasure. Let's bust our first myth. Most Vikings were not full-time raiders. They were farmers. Your life is governed by the seasons and the land. You spend your days tending to crops like barley and rye and caring for your livestock. The work is backbreaking. You use a simple wooden plow pulled by oxen if you are wealthy, or by yourself if you are not. Every rock must be cleared by hand. Viking women had more rights than many in their time, but their lives were no less difficult. They managed the farm, wove cloth, prepared food, and were the keepers of the family's honor. They were the backbone of this society. Let's bust the biggest myth of all, the horned helmet. There is zero historical or archaeological evidence that Vikings ever wore them in battle. It is a 19th century invention, created for opera. A real Viking helmet was a simple, practical bowl of iron or leather. But the land is poor and the winters are long. This is why the sea calls. The longship is the key to Viking power. It is a masterpiece of engineering, able to navigate both the open ocean and shallow rivers. To go a Viking was not to be a Viking by nationality. It was an activity, a summer job. It meant to go on a raid. It was a way for a poor farmer's son like you to gain wealth, fame, and land. Now, let's say you've joined a raiding party. Your target is a monastery on the coast of England. They are rich, undefended, and have no idea you are coming. The attack is swift and brutal. The goal is not to conquer, but to plunder. Gold, silver, and slaves are the prizes. This is not a battle of armies. It is an organized, violent robbery. You return home with your share of the loot. You are now richer. You have proven your worth as a man. But the experience has marked you. Your world is shaped by your gods. Odin, the All-Father, god of war and wisdom. Thor, the thunder god, protector of mankind. Their stories are told around the fire, tales of giants, monsters, and heroic deeds. You believe in fate or wyrd. Your destiny is already woven by the Norns. The only choice you have is to face it with courage. Law and order in your village is maintained by the Thing, an assembly of free men. Here, disputes are settled, laws are made, and justice is delivered. It is a surprisingly democratic system for its time. But life is still violent. Blood feuds between families can last for generations. A man is expected to defend his honor, with words and with his axe. What about the Berserkers, the legendary wild warriors? They were real, but they were likely a small, ritualistic warrior cult, not a common part of every Viking army. They were the terrifying shock troops of the Viking world. As evening falls, you return to the longhouse for the main meal. It might be a stew of root vegetables, and if you are lucky, some meat or fish. You eat with your family, sharing stories of the day. Entertainment is a skald, a poet, who recites epic poems of heroes and gods from memory. This is your literature, your history, your entertainment. Viking society was complex. It was not just warriors. There were skilled craftsmen, savvy merchants, and daring explorers. Long before Columbus, Viking explorers reached North America, establishing a small settlement in what is now Newfoundland. They were the first Europeans to see this new world. They established vast trade networks, from Constantinople to the Caspian Sea, trading slaves, furs, and amber for silver and silks. You have a written language, the runes, but they are not used for writing books. They are for carving messages on stone, wood, or bone. They are believed to hold magical power. Medical care is basic. It is a mix of herbal remedies and superstition. A serious wound or illness is often a death sentence. Life expectancy is low, around 30 to 40 years. Winter is the most dangerous time. The sun disappears for months. The fjords freeze. Food is scarce. You survive on stored grain and salted meat. Many do not see the spring. Your day is ending. You have worked the land, tended the animals, and perhaps even fought for your life. You are exhausted, physically and mentally. The life of a Viking was a life of constant hardship, defined by the struggle against the land, the sea, and each other. They were not the one-dimensional barbarians of popular culture. They were a complex and resourceful people who adapted and thrived in an unforgiving world. The Viking Age would eventually end. The adoption of Christianity, the rise of powerful European kingdoms, and changes in climate all played a part. But their legacy is all around us, in our language, in our laws, and in the DNA of millions of people. They were raiders, yes, but they were also traders, explorers, poets, and pioneers. So, could you have survived a day in the Viking Age? It required a resilience and a toughness that is hard for us to imagine. The true Viking was not a cartoon character with a horned helmet. He was a farmer who sometimes went to sea. His greatest battle was not against foreign armies, but against the cold, the hunger, and the unforgiving landscape of his own home. It was a world of wood, iron, and fire, a world lit by the stars and the hearth. The stories they told, the sagas, are filled with violence, but also with loyalty, honor, and a dark, fatalistic humor. Our fascination with them endures because they represent a raw, untamed freedom, a life lived without compromise. But it's a freedom that came at a terrible price, a price paid in blood, sweat, and sorrow. To understand the Viking is to understand the soul of the Northman, pragmatic, fatalistic, and fiercely independent. Could you face the endless winter, the backbreaking labor, and the constant threat of violence? Survival in the Viking Age required a different kind of strength than we know today, a strength of body but also of spirit. Their world reflects the raw, early struggles of European civilization itself. As you lie down in the longhouse, the fire casting long shadows, you know that tomorrow will be the same. A struggle, a test, a life lived on the edge of the world, on the edge of survival. The Vikings did not just raid history, they made it. They pushed the boundaries of the known world and left their mark on it forever. The echoes of their longships can still be heard in the fjords, a reminder of a time when the world was younger and much more dangerous. They were the true children of the North, forged in ice and fire. Thank you for joining us for this look into the brutal reality of the Viking Age. If you found this compelling, please subscribe for more deep dives into the past.